Hello and welcome to my channel Crochet and Copy. My name is Judy. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this lovely crocodile plant hanger. Let's get started. So the size that I made the plant hanger for is, I got this one at Home Depot. Okay, so it's the 4x8 and this one is 4 inches. I got this one at Walmart. It's a smaller one. It still fits in there, but it's not as snug. So the 4.8 inches I think fit better. So I'm going to try my best and give you a measurement of our plant hanger, because I showed you what pot size fits in there, but I just wanted to show this also. So when you flatten it out and across almost to the top, it's like 7.5 inches, and without the strap, from the top to the bottom is like 5.5 inches. Okay, so these are the supplies you're going to be using to make our crocodile plant hanger. I'll go over them with you. The yarn we're using is Peaches and Creme original, and it's 100% cotton, medium 4, and the color is dark taupe, and it's a worse 4. And for this size, this is the 70.9 gram. Okay, so that's the first yarn, because this would be your main color. We only need one of each. Okay, and the second one, everything is the same size, same thing. The only thing, the color here is Oasis, and also to this size change. Okay, this size is the 56.7 grams, so that's the difference between them. All right, so that's our yarn. Our hook that we're using is the US G6. It's the 4.00 millimeter. We're gonna need a yarn needle, and of course we're going to need only one, of course, of our key rings. Okay, and this is the one I got this one from Michael's. Okay, and a stitch marker, and lastly our scissors. So these are supplies, so let's get started. The color we're starting off with is our dark taupe. To get started, we're going to do what's called an adjustable ring. I'll show you how to do the adjustable ring, because there's different ways of doing it, but this is how I prefer to do my adjustable ring. Okay, I take the yarn, I drape it over my 2 fingers, I let it fall to the back. I take my hook, I put it between my 2 fingers, and I pull up a loop of yarn, and there you go, we have a ring. So that will be our adjustable ring. All right, so now to start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to put 16 double crochet in adjustable ring, but to start off with, we're going to chain 2. Okay, and a chain is just yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through, and that chain doesn't count as a stitch. It's just to hold our adjustable ring in place, basically. All right, so now we're going to put 16 double crochet, and a double crochet is yarn over your hook before you go into the space, a little adjustable ring. You can see we have our little tail. Go into it and pull up a loop of yarn, yarn over, and for the double crochet you're going to go across the first 2 loops on your hook, going slow so you can see. All right, now you have 2 loops on your hook remaining, yarn over to complete it, and just pull across 2 of them at the same time, and that's it. And since we're going to be working in the round, here is where a stitch marker comes in. This helps us. So this will tell us this is our first double crochet made for, this will be round 1. Okay, all right, so we did 1, so we need 15 more. I'm going to show you a couple times. Okay, so yarn over, remember double crochet, go into your adjustable ring, pull up a loop of yarn, yarn over, pull across the first 2, and then to complete it, yarn over, pull straight across. I'll show you again. Yarn over, Go into your adjustable ring, pull up a loop of yarn, 2 loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over, pull across the first 2 loops, and then you have those 2 loops remaining, yarn over and pull straight across those 2 loops. And that's it. That's how you do your double crochet. So we need 16 of those. So when you complete doing 16, I'll meet you there and I'll show you what to do next. So that's how we look when we do our 16. Of course, our stitch marker will be the first one, so you could count it and see it, okay? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so on. And that's how we look when we have our 16. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to pull on the tail lightly, okay? Not too hard, because we don't want to close it up all the way. Keep it open, all right, like that, all right? And to complete round 1, where our stitch marker is, we're just going to join it, okay? So we're going to join right here where our stitch marker is. And to join is just go into that stitch and you're going to pull up a loop and then pull straight across the other loop. And that's how you join, okay? And now with that, you complete round 1, and with completion of round 1, you have 16 stitches. So keep a track of how many you have, of course, all right? So now to start round 2, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And in that same stitch we just joined, because for round 2, what we're going to do is put 2 double crochet in each stitch around, all right? So in that same stitch we joined, go ahead and put 2 double crochet. And of course, this will be our first one, so we don't lose our spot. Put your stitch marker back in, all right? And one more, go right back into that same stitch. Show you the pattern again for round 2. Pattern is just put 2 double crochet in each stitch around, all right? So go back into that stitch. And that's it. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you there. So this is how we look when we put 2 double crochet in each stitch around. And by doing that, you're supposed to have 32 stitches, okay? So make sure you have your 32. And just so you a little side point too, right here is where we join, okay? Although it looks like a stitch, but just be aware of that. So now we're going to join to the top of our first double crochet made, and this will complete round 2. Now to get started with round 3, you're going to chain your 2, 1, 2, and this is the pattern for round 3. In the same stitch we just joined, we're going to put 1 double crochet. Of course, put your stitch marker back in. And the next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochet. Okay, that's 1. And that's 2. I'll show you the pattern again. Next stitch, you will put 1 double crochet. In the following stitch, you put 2 double crochet. And that's it. That's the pattern. So go ahead and do the next stitch, 1 double crochet. The next stitch, you'll put 2 double crochet. And I'll meet you there when you finish that. So we did that pattern around, and by doing that, we have 48 stitches at the round completion of round 3. So we're going to join to complete round 3. All right, you know how to join. Now to start round 4, you're going to chain your 2, 1, 2. And with this, now we finished increasing. We're not going to increase anymore. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called the back loop only, okay, in the double crochet. So I'll show you how to do that. So you know how to do the double crochet, but remember we're using the stitch that we joined. So you're going to find the back loop. And the thing is with the crochet here, the double crochet, you have, this will consider the back loop, and then this will be considered the front loop of our stitch, okay? Because it shapes like a V. So when you have that V, the front part of it is the front stitch, and then this part will be the back stitch, okay? So all we're going to do for round 4 is we're just going to put 1 double crochet, but the back loop only for each stitch around. So you should have your 48 at the completion of round 4. So put your stitch marker back in because that's our first stitch. Show you again. You know how to do double crochet, but remember, find the back loop. Back loop is right here. And that's all we're going to do around. Show you again where it is. Divide it, because as I say, it's like a V. And just divide it in the back. And that's all you're going to do for round 4. So that's how we look when we did the back loop only for our 48 stitches. So now to complete round 4, we're going to join. Remember, you always join at that first double crochet for that round. Okay, now so we're going to start round 5. So you're going to chain your 2, 1, 2. And for this round, this chain 2 will count as a stitch, okay? Because for the other rounds we didn't count it, but this time we're going to count it as a stitch. And being that our chain 2 counts as a stitch, what we're going to do is I'm going to put my stitch marker there. It helps open it up a little bit because it gets tight when we try to go back. All right, so the top of the chain 2, that will be our first stitch. So now for the pattern for round 5, you just put 1 double crochet, and of course you're going to put a double crochet in the stitch we also joined. All right, so 1 double crochet around for round 5, and that's all. And with the double crochet, we're not putting in the back loop or the front loop. It's just a regular double crochet. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you there. So that's how we look now that we completed round 5. And with the completion of round 5, because we consider, remember our first chain that we made, the chain 2, consider that a stitch. So you have 49 stitches at the completion of round 5. Now to complete round 5, we're going to join. But here, where our stitch, because remember we consider the chain 2 as a stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to change our color here when we join. All right, I'll show you how I do it for this project, how I change my yarn. So of course we're switching now to the Oasis color yarn. I'm going to pull up a tail so I don't lose my spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just attach my yarn to my hook, and this is how I'm going to do it, similar to how I do the adjustable ring. Just take, because I'm making a slip knot stitch, okay, same thing as you see, and just tighten that little knot against my hook. That's it. So this is for this project how I'm going to join my yarn. Just pull it up a little bit so I have room. So I take it out. So now I go back to the, let's say, our old color yarn. All right, fix it up. And now we're going to join this round, okay? This will be round 5, the completion of round 5. And since we have it, that slip knot stitch there, hold on to it. You're just going to pull straight across. Take your time with it, all right? You get it. There you go. So that's for this project how I change my yarn. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1. Of course, as you see, I dropped the old color yarn. I didn't cut it off. And I'm working now with the new color yarn, all right? So that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. But what we're going to do now is we're going to put 3 double crochet around that first stitch. So that will actually be the chain 2, okay? So you know how to do the double crochet. So we're going to turn it so that we could work with it. So you're going to put 3 double crochet down the first stitch. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And that's how we look so far, okay? And of course, you see, we didn't put back in our stitch marker, okay? For this pattern that we're working with now, all right? It's okay, just hold it to the side. We will get back to it. So that's, we did the 3 double crochet. So now you're gonna chain 1, and now you're gonna turn your little project, and you're gonna go, and the posts, we're working with the posts, because the posts are actually, because before, remember, we were doing the back loops, and that's the top of the stitch. Now the posts of our stitch are here, these little, right here. Hopefully I explain it right, you've seen it. So that's a post, that's a post, and that's a post. So that's what we're going to work with now for this round 6, all right? So turn your work, and we're going to go to the next post, and you're going to do what we did, is just put 3 double crochet around it, and this time will be considered going up the post. So that's 1, and this will be a 3rd one, okay? Pull it up so I don't lose my spot. I just want to show you how it's looking so far, okay? So that's the crocodile stitch, and this will be our first, they call it scales, okay? So it could be our little scale for our crocodile stitch. So for the completion of round 10, you're supposed to have 10 scales, all right? So this is the pattern. So now moving on. So we're going to skip 2 stitches, and the stitches would be up here, all right? So that would be 1 right there, and this would be 2. So we skip those 2, and we're going to slip stitch the 3rd stitch right here. Okay. And then the post right here underneath where we put that slip stitch, we're going to skip that, and we're going to go on to the next post, and we're going to do 3 double crochet down that post. All right, so you could turn your work so you could work with it better, because it's different than what we've been doing with the pattern for our double crochet. Now we have to actually change the direction. You feel it when you do it, okay? So that's our 3 double crochet down. And remember, this is the pattern, so you're gonna chain your 1, turn your work. We're gonna work up the next post, okay? And the post is here. So you're gonna put 3 double crochet up that post. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to skip 2 stitch, remember, 1, 2, and then you slip stitch to that one, and then you skip the post that we just slip stitch to, and the next post you're going to put 3 double crochet down that post, and that's it. That's the pattern, okay? You're going to chain your 1, turn it to find the next post, and then you're going to put 3 double crochet up that post. And then you're going to skip 2 stitch, 1, 2, the following stitch, you slip stitch, and then you skip the post that we slip stitch to, and then you put 3 double crochet around. So that's the pattern, all right? So you see it, it's easy, follow. It's just you have to learn or get the feeling of turning your work so that you could do and work around the post. That's it. So go ahead and work with that pattern. I won't show you the others, but remember, when you finish, you're supposed to have 10 of our little scales. 1, 2, 3 we did already, and we're starting the 4th one, all right? So you're going to chain your 1, you go to the next post, 3 double crochet, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, slip stitch to the next one, and then that's when you start doing the scale over again. So go ahead and complete that, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so we did our 10 scales for round 6. So we have those 2 stitches here, so we're going to skip them, and what we're going to do is we're going to find little edge. Can remember we started this round, we did a chain 1. Just want to make sure you understand that was not a stitch, okay? All right, but we're going to try to go to the side of the first scale we made to slip stitch, because we want to hold it. All right, and then go back to right in here, kind of. All right, because remember, to finish off the scale, we slip stitch to hold it in place right there. All right, so now to start round 7, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Here now, I'm going to put back my stitch marker, okay? If you could find it, it's good, but you see when we come back around, I'm going to put my stitch marker there, because this would be considered our first V stitch in our first stitch, okay? You see when we move on, all right? So now we're going to form V stitches, okay? So right there where we just joined, we're going to put 1 double crochet, all right? And then this will start off our V stitch. So now you find the center of that scale, and we're going to put 2 double crochet right there, all right? So this is the pattern we're going to follow around for round 7, all right? So the pattern is we're going to go and find between now the scales, all right? The 2 scale, the first scale and second scale, we're going to put 2 double crochet right there. Now it's a lot of stitches in there, so you just have to open it up, take your time with it, and you get it. So go right back down into that same, because we're making the V stitch, and that's how you do it, putting 2 double crochet. So now find the center of our scale and put 2 double crochet right there. So I won't show you how to do the others, because you know the double crochet and just where you find. So the pattern is 2 between the scales, 2 in the center, 2 between, 2 in the center, 2 between, 2 in the center. Go ahead and do that. When you finish that, I'll meet you there. So we did that pattern around, and by doing that pattern around, we have 20 of our V stitches, okay? So make sure you have your 20 V stitches around. So now what all left for us to do to complete round 7 is to join it, but here we're going to switch back to our main color yarn, and that's why I like to put my stitch marker there, kind of open it up for me so I could get back in there. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, okay? So now I dropped the yarn I was working with, pick up our main color yarn, and I'm just going to join it. And this is how we chain also our yarn. That's it. Now to start round 8, of course, I dropped the color yarn that we were working with, the Oasis, and I let it just stay there, okay? And then we're starting with the main color yarn. So you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. So basically what we did for round 6, we're going to do for round 8. But with round 6, we had double crochet. Now we have the V stitch that we're working with, okay? So I'm just going to show you a couple of times because it's the same thing, all right? So what you're going to do is the first start of the first V stitch will be the chain 3 that we started this previous round with, all right? So what you're going to do is just you're going to put 3 double crochet around it, the post. Well, it's not the post, it's the V stitch now, okay? You're going to chain your 1 because now we're making the scales over again, all right? Turn it, and the last part of that V stitch, you're going to put 3 double crochet there. So we went ahead and did that. We put 3 double crochet up that last part of our V stitch. So now what you're going to do, that V stitch that's right there, all you're going to do is just slip stitch right there. So this is the pattern you're going to follow around. So the next V stitch is right here. You're going to just put 3 double crochet around it. And then you're going to chain your one, turn your work so you can work with it better. And the next part of that post V-stitch, you're just going to put 3 double crochet up that one. Remember, this is the pattern. And the next V-stitch, find your next V-stitch right here, you slip stitch into that, and that's it. Like I said, it's similar to what we did for round 6, but just because now we're working with the V-stitch. All right, so keep on working with that pattern. So what you're going to do, find the next V-stitch, and you're going to put 3 down, chain your 1, 3 up, slip stitch, 3 down, chain 1, 3, double crochet up, and so on and so on. And that's how it's going to be. And when you finish that, I'll meet you there. So following that pattern around, we have our 10 scales. So make sure you have your 10 scales, okay? So now what's left to do is to put the last slip stitch into this V-stitch, but to make sure that our little scale doesn't move too much, we're just going to grab the side of our first scale made for that round, and then go into that V-stitch and slip stitch. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to show you because it's the same pattern we're going to be repeating, because we're going to make the V-stitch and then we make our scales. Okay, and you know how many I showed you. All right, so I'll just tell you. So now we're going to start round 9. So with round 9, what you're going to do is repeat round 7. And as you see, when I started this round, I didn't put in my stitch marker, all right, because it was easy to find and to tell you where it is. But if you go to round 9 now, because that's repeating round 7, because you're going to chain your 3, I would put back in my little stitch marker. It's up to you if you don't want to put it in, because remember, we're going to join at the top of the chain 3, all right? So only these 2 rounds are going to be repeating now, round 7 and round 8. So now we're on to round 9 from here. So you repeat round 7. And then round 10, you're going to repeat round 8. But of course, we're changing our color. So keep a track of it, okay? Because we do 1 round of the scales and 1 round of the V-stitch with our color yarn that we're working with. And then when you switch up, you switch back to the other color yarn. So every 2 rows, round, you change your color, okay? So just keep a track. But now you're going to work from round 9 through round 13. You're just going to repeat that round 7 and 8, all right? So when you finish, you should finish off at round 13, and with finishing round 13, you repeat round 7, all right? So I'll meet you back when you get up to the last part to do for round 13, and I'll show you what to do next. So remember, just change your color yarn as you go. So we made it up to round 13, and this is how we look so far. Now to complete round 13, what we're going to do is we're going to join it, but also we're going to change our color, okay? Let me just take out my stitch marker. And of course, you know how to join it, and you know how to change the color, okay? So we did that. So, and of course, we're back to the main color of our yarn. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put my stitch marker on the top of the chain 2, because what we're going to do is consider this chain 2 a stitch, okay? So now for the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, all we're going to do is put 1 double crochet. So go ahead and do that. Okay, that's how we look when we did our 4 double crochet, and you know how to do the double crochet. And the following stitch right here, we're going to put 2 double crochet, and this is the pattern around for round 14, okay? I'll show you again the pattern. So the pattern consists of the next 4 stitches. All you're going to do is put 1 double crochet, and the following you're going to put 2 double crochet. All right, So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one will be putting 2 double crochet, and that's it, and that's the pattern for round 14. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you until we have 4 more stitches remaining, because we're going to do this pattern till we got 4 more stitches remaining. Okay, and then I'll meet you there. So we made it to where we have 4 stitches remaining. So what we're going to do is the first 3, 1, 2, 3, all you're going to do is put 1 double crochet, and in the last stitch you're going to put 2 double crochet. All right, and of course this is not a stitch, this is where we change our color and we join. Okay, so you're aware of that. So you just pull on it. All right, and comes. Now to complete round 14, remember we said the first chain 2 that we made is counted as our first stitch, so we're going to join it to there, and that's to complete round 14. So now we're going to start making the straps for our little plant holder. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain 95, and of course with the 95 you know how to do a chain 95. You don't have to stop there, but for me that's where I'm stopping. Okay, you could do, if you want it longer, go ahead, don't stop at 95, but that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to do 95 chain. So I did 95 of my chain. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a nice tail, because we need to sew it on, attach it to our other side. Okay, so make sure you pull up a nice tail. I grab my scissors and I cut it off, and I show you how I attach it. Also, I'm going to cut off our other yarn that we have, the Oasis, so I could work with it better. All right, so go ahead and cut it off, but give it a tail because we need to tuck it in. All right, so now I went ahead and I cut off the yarn, and I'm just going to tighten, I guess it holds on where I cut it off. Okay, and now we're going to find the other end by just pressing against it, make it flat. So you could lay it flat too and press it down, but you for the tutorial I'm doing it this way so you can see it. Okay, what you do, I put my stitch marker where it would reach to the other side. Okay, when you come around, you attach it, it will be there. All right, so we don't lose our spot. That's it, just press against the opening of it to make sure it's straight and even, and then we're going to attach it there. And before we attach it, we have to put on our key ring. Okay, so just take your key ring and use your, because as you see I attach my yarn needle and just go through it. Okay, so it's there. All right, so I'm leaving my stitch marker there for right now because just help guide me. All right, so I'm going to take it, the yarn needle, and just go through that stitch. All right, that's all I'm doing. Now I want to pull it like you get the part of the chain that we did and we pull against it, comes in a little bit. Okay, now you could take out stitch marker. So now I could turn it so I could work with it and see what I'm doing. All right, so all we're going to do is just try to anchor it and secure it, make sure it stays. So I'm going to go down into this stitch, the double, that will be the double crochet for round 14. Make it hold on, and then I'm going to go back up into the chain itself. I'm going to try to keep it as neat as I can. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So now I'm going to go and find the other, because it's the chain we're working through, find the other side and then come back down into our last round that we did, for just making sure we could make it look nice and attach it so you can hold on. And of course double check to make sure it looks nice from outside. . 'Cause 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 ' And of course, when we attach it, you make sure that you get it, try to keep it straight, okay? And I'm going to go across on the other side of the double crochet. And then go back up. And then try to find the chain again and go back down in the next double crochet that we were before. And remember to check to see if it looks nice. And that's all that we're going to do to attach it, okay? Just find as you go. You feel it when you do it too, okay? So now I think I did it enough time. Feels nice. So I'm just going to weave in the end and hide it, okay? Just find inside of our plant holder. I'm going to cut it off, and that should be it. Now we need to make the other strap. So what you're going to do is, before you start it, make sure you leave a tail because we have to attach it, okay? So leave a tail before you make your slip knot stitch and you start chaining. And remember, we're chaining 95. And of course, if you want it longer, go ahead and do that. Do as much as you want it, or as long as you want it. But give it a tail. Now, of course, after you finish doing your 95 chain, make sure you give it a nice tail because we also have to attach it, all right? Like we did, just give it a little, so it stays secure. Pull on it, the last chain. As we did before when we attach our first strap, we flatten it. So now we're going to also do that to attach the other strap. So, and of course we can use the first strap we attach as a guide. Flatten it. And then find. And then you could put your stitch marker, okay? And where you need to attach on both sides. That side and this side, all right? So I went ahead and attached my yarn needle because I think this is good for me. Look nice right there. Put my 2-stitch marker. So pick any side you want to attach first. And of course I'm going through the front, okay, of our little opening now. Of course you could take out your stitch marker. And here with this one, since it's not attached, I wanted the chain to be as straight as I can get it. So I turn it so that because I would say this is the back of the chain because you have the little bars in the back, the little bumps, and then this is the front of the chain. So when I pull it in, I make sure I turn it, okay? Keep it as straight as you can. So we're going to try to do the same thing that we did for the other side. Just keep it as neat as we can as we go along to attach it. So I'm going to go into the double crochet underneath. And that's about it from attaching it. It's the same thing we're trying to use, the same method, okay? Okay, so what I'm doing is finding the chain from the outside. I went through from the inside. Okay. Like I said, when you do it, you feel it, and then you know that you're grabbing the chain. Go back inside. Okay, I think I did that nice. Feels tight, feels good. And I'm just going to try to hide the tail again. Okay. So now we're going to attach to the other side where our stitch marker is helping us guide us. Okay, but keep in mind that when you attach it, keep your chain as straight as it is, okay, as you could get it. And this will be, like I said, the front of our chain, and this will be the back of our chain. And of course we need to go through our key ring one more time. So make sure when you go through it, everything is nice and straight too, okay? That's all we do, just pull through it and gauge it, keep everything straight with the key ring, and then just attach it. I'm not going to show you how to attach to the last part we need to attach to. By now I figured you know how to do it, okay? So I'm not showing it to you, but go ahead and do it. Keep everything straight. That's it. We attached our key ring and we attach our straps, and that's how we look. So all that's left for us to do is to tuck in our tails that we have. Okay, so when you work with it and you tuck it in, what I'm going to do is just turn it slightly inside so that I could hide my tails inside. All right, I'm going to show you how to do one for the one that when we started with the tail for the adjustable ring. All you could do is just go around and tuck it in and cut off the extra, okay? But then we have this one and this one tail to tuck in. So all you're going to do is find stitches in the back and try not to come out the front. And just go under those stitches to hide our tail. And make sure that it's nice and secure. All right, so that's all we're going to be doing. So that's it. We finished making our crocodile plant holder. And that's how we look. I think it came out pretty nice. The crocodile stitch looks pretty good. And then of course when we change up the color of our yarn, I think it makes the crocodile stitch stand out. Looks really nice, came out really nice. Now all that's left for us to do is to grab our plant and put it in, and that's it. I just want to show you others that I made. This is the one we made together in this tutorial. This is the other one that I did. And this one, of course, you see I put beads on it. If you want to add the beads, it's up to you, but of course make sure when you get the beads, the opening of the beads has to be a nice size hole to go over our chain, okay? It's optional, you don't have to do that. And then this is the other one I did. Just change up the yarn. That's it. We're all finished. Thank you for watching. I had fun showing you how to make it, and I hope you had fun doing it along with me. I think it came out so cute. Thank you again for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.